Cool, now we can get started. Yeah, 18 people on here, pretty cool. Hope everybody's well, hope everybody is striving, thriving, and everything in between. Let's see. So yeah, so like I said, I'm going to pretty much talk about not necessarily a follow-up from the last Zoom. I'm going to talk about what happened pretty much this week and what I was looking at, discussing why my bias was X for the short to medium term. And then after that, price can do whatever. Once my bias is met, then I can't really, predict after that without the, provided information. So I do remember that I think it was about maybe like a month ago now at this point, we brought up this, which was a weekly POI, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, a weekly POI. And we were talking about how this could pretty much be the next bounce as to why this just melts. And it looks like we're finally getting that timing right, and we're actually seeing something potentially show itself to give us, a really big continuation towards the downside. So for the most part, I am still like 100% pretty much bearish with the entire bias as a whole. Maybe for the medium term, we might be bullish, especially after what happened this week. But in terms of a bias for the long run, I am still pretty much looking for, any type of premium now that we've solidified the range, right? High, 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 high. First time that's been broken, high. And the reason why I'm saying this high and not these highs being broken, because we have the high that creates the new low into the retracement, which creates a new low, and then that is taken out. So this is the first significant high that's being taken out, in my opinion. And I see that as being the catalyst as to why this is pretty much giving us that premium. So yeah, I do want to see some sort of premium and the continuation for, the long run. But now we can get to what I was looking at midweek, and I'll just show you guys my personal stuff. What I was looking at on dollar, right? We had our internal structural range there. However, I did notice that this is weak order flow. A lot of people tend to call this liquidity, and that's, it's a bit of a 50-50 for me. I don't want to consider it liquidity because I don't want that to influence the bias. Whereas with weak order flow, understanding this as multiple mitigations, as you can see, multiple mitigations without creating a substantial new low, that is weak order flow, and that is signaling to me that we might see, right, not necessarily the target being met, but a type of retracement after that. So that's exactly what we got. So once we got this retracement here and we saw that, we have the internal LG being formed, right, especially with with this being taken, liquidity 1, liquidity 2, internal liquidity grab, and especially with the pretty much the transition already occurring, right? Once the transition has occurred, I don't necessarily expect a deep retracement because the deep retracement has already pretty much happened, and that could be signaled here where we see the high, the low, and the 50% around there, so we get the premium already with the POI. So that, in my opinion, is your premium entry internally. But in terms of now, I don't see a deep retracement just because, like I said, we already saw the transition, and after the transition, it's usually just continuations on continuations. So that's what I was looking at there. EURUSD. Right, first thing, order flow disruption. Second thing, order flow disruption again. But I see this more as liquidity being swept, and then obviously the liquidity grab. So that's why it's ideally the same bias as DXY, but inverted. And we also know that we were technically bullish as a whole, and we do know that no significant low into high was being taken at all. So I was just really in that continuation over reversal mindset and just anticipating this to continue higher, at least, for the short medium term. I didn't have a target on here, but on DXY I did have a target, and that target was, right, a very significant low here. This is a pretty much, I'll probably consider this a swing solidified point, but that is pretty much what our target was after the failed conversion into the upside via the weak order flow. I would consider this here, right, the failed conversion, and I'm just looking for the continuation. It's just a simple way of putting it. let's see. But yeah, that covers EU, and then AUDUSD, same thing. I was pretty much anticipating that. I remember our last Zoom, we did cover this. Sorry, we did cover this, the failed transition, and then pretty much you had 1-2 entries to then reach the X target, right? The X target, right? Although it has been taken, we did create a substantial new high, and we even did take out this major liquidity point, which that, if you guys don't know based on the top of your heads, I'll show you, is that at the moment, this was a very big key point of liquidity, right? And although we had swept it once, the internal structure was still low, high retracement. So we were still anticipating that continuation, at least until the X point here, which was the the previous swing high. So as you can see, that was our bias, seeing for a failed bullish to bearish transition. And if you guys recall, I even, just based on that bias alone, I did show you guys something. Let's see, let me see if I could find it really quick. Yeah, here we go. This was an execution I took, but even though I don't take execution sometimes, I do like to study and look at these and pretty much just do these before afters, just as kind of like, I kind of see it as like running drills on myself, just seeing different types of entries potentially play out based on X theory and seeing what can, you know, come from them. So basically this was just one of those before afters here where you see internal LG, POI, perfect tap, and then you can see the target being met. And that's just something cool that I like to, you know, see, because you could see these types of scenarios basically every day. This is M1, so you see these types of scenarios every day. I just think it's cool running these drills on yourself and just adding extra practice without, you know, putting in the risk. But yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. This over here. That, and as you can see, that was pretty much in support of this overall bias, because the internal was technically bearish, because in order for us to get a failed bullish to bearish transition, we would need internal scalp bearish order flow in order to give us that failed transition. So that's pretty much how that connects there and how my bias connects to that. But then as you can see, the overall bias was still the same. Here, as you can see, right? We were here, right, at the time live. And then, right, we obviously got that pretty deep discount, which then led to the target being met, that being the X. So yeah, after that, personally, I wasn't on the charts yesterday, so I didn't really see this big transition, which I know a lot of you guys caught, which is very, very good. I thought this was a pretty much textbook trade here, or textbook scenario here, where you see the liquidity being swept, and then you see the transition, and you can then see the internal premium based on here. So that led on to the move afterwards. But at the time, with the knowledge or with the information that was given to me, I could only make these judgments, and these judgments were, as you can see, correct with the information that I had. Now, after the liquidity is met, obviously I can't, like we always say this, I can't necessarily predict 100% what's going to happen after the liquidity has been swept. And the reason why I do that is because there's always the possibility that I can convert, but then there's also the possibility that you just get an internal retracement. And like the reason why it's kind of hard to predict is, like, for example, look at DXY. DXY, this was the original bias that we had here, which was the M30. And as you can see, based on the M30, right, we were looking at that, and then that was here. You saw, you know, some sort of retracement, and then immediately hit the target, and then immediately flipped, right? So that's one scenario. But then if you look at AUDUSD, right, we had this major point of liquidity be taken, and yes, it caused an internal downside move, but in the end, it was still a retracement to then a continuation. So you do see these like internal bounces. But I don't really like to play based on those bounces because it really goes against my overall bias. And that's just, I guess, something that, you know, is just a me thing. But either way, I thought this was super interesting. And like I said, with dollar, I am anticipating the retracement into the POI. AUDUSD, this one is very interesting just because if I start to look at the weekly, that is a bearish engulfing that took liquidity, that is bouncing off of a POI here, because as you can see, right, it topped there, the POI, the engulfing. So this very well could be like very bearish. And that's a bit concerning just because we would want to be bearish on this longer term. But here, what does that mean internally? I think we've already broken through the swing range as well. Yeah, we have. The swing range has been broken. So at this point right now, I would consider this a falling knife. I wouldn't want to buy this. But I do want to see what can happen within these POIs down here. And seeing what can, if we can get any type of reaction into the upside. And the reason why it's here is because you can see potential lows, maybe liquidity, maybe, and the fact that we are technically bearish now. So if we see any type of transition here, then this could be the catalyst that, you know, brings price back up and really catapults this bullish long term, which is ideally what I would want to see. But if we break through this POI, then we're looking at, you know, a meltdown. I don't see, I don't consider this to be realistic here, where we come down here, somewhere here, and then go up there. It's not realistic to me. If it comes down there, I would more so see something like that as more reasonable, just because if I'm going based on the immediate move, then in order for price to come down here, we have to break structure, and then that could be an internal overall swing liquidity grab, and all we're doing is following the bias based on that. But yeah, that's AUDUSD, EURUSD. This one, based on the weekly as well, very bearish. And this one also has a weekly POI that I did not note until right now. This one also has a weekly POI that I would like to see. But something that I noted, I'm surprised it's not on this chart. Oh, it's on my personal chart actually. Hold on, because I did note this, which was this candle here. Yeah, I did note it. And I think it's noted on my chart as well. One second. Don't know if it was the weekly. Was it the weekly? Yeah, I kind of, yeah, I can see this 1 week POI right there. This is something that I noted earlier in the week, and this is actually in my EURUSD chart, which is this gray region, which is what was my target internally. So forgot to add that in there, but that's something for you guys to look at as well. It was just based on the candle open and the wick high because it's a bullish candle. But yeah, I thought that was super interesting. I wanted you guys to note that as well. But as of right now, I don't see this being bullish for the short medium term. I do see this potentially giving us, you know, hopefully some type of pullback to then continuation to the downside, and then seeing if we can see a transition here later in the week next week. And then Friday could give us a good move, and then there you go. That's a really good weekly closure, which could really set up the month to be, you know, very, very well. But yeah, outside of that, I haven't really been looking at gold. I heard that this did take like a big hit. And this is concerning. This is, I mean, I will say this bearish move this week is very concerning, only because this isn't a legitimate POI based on this time frame, but I'm pretty sure on the 2 week it would come out nicely. Yeah, you can see it there, the bullish wick. Wick closure, and you can see that is now bringing us downward into the previous turbulence points. Not necessarily turbulence point, but where order flow has been stuck before, because we did see, let Let me actually show you guys here. I don't think I've pointed this out before. Right here, this is a failed transition. You can see the continuation POS here, failed conversion, right? Where this then, right, challenges highs, you see the internal move. So there's some sort of order flow here. So this general area is going to be something I want to look at. Obviously, this would be the immediate POI that would matter here. But I'm not too confident with this here just because of how fast this is falling. And like I said, this is potentially kind of like an AU scenario where this is a falling knife and you don't really want to get caught up trying to, you know, buy this, especially with how we're going to close the week in the day. But yeah, other than that, this one's been pretty boring, if I'm being honest. Let's see, because I do remember that we talked about the conversion, the bullish wick, and the conversion downward. This seems like it is potentially failing. However, I don't like this. The reason why I don't like this is because internally that shows that we are in no man's land where we're pretty much creating solidified highs and lows and we're stuck within the range. So personally, I'm gonna just sit out on this one. This isn't one that I'm gonna have a bias on, at least for the next couple of days, because we do know where our target is, which is orange line, but the reaction has occurred, the reaction has failed. Well, not necessarily failed fully until the POI has been taken, but we are challenging deep into the POI again, so I don't see this potentially sustaining itself. However, because we are in no man's land, this is really what's going to dictate whether we're going to go lower or higher. So like I said, I'm just not going to have a bias with this one. But yeah, I apologize for the wait. Tried to make that a bit, you know, quick, fast, and easy for you guys. So does anybody have any questions? Also, who is this admin? I need you to change your name or I'm kicking you off the call. Yeah, who is admin? You have about 1 minute to tell me who you are or you're kicked off the call.
Who is it? Amado?
Admin. I need you to change your name, bro, please. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, I'm giving you 10 more seconds and then I'm kicking you off the call. Cool. Seems like somebody's sharing out the Zoom link. That's fine. Does anybody have any questions? Yeah, I don't want to make the Zoom too short, so I'll probably sit here for like another 10 minutes. If anybody wants to, talk about anything. All right, anybody, any questions? Let's see, you got 16 people on here. Let's see. Yeah, man, hope all is well. Yeah, and it seems like I did fix my OBS too, so hopefully today's recording isn't too bad. But is 2 weeks not too long for a meeting? I mean, I don't think so, bro. Like, if you want me to be 100% honest, like, I'm pretty much getting nothing out of this now. Like, the group is closed. The service has been provided. All of this is just free extra stuff that I'm doing. Like, I'm not making any more money off of this, which is cool. But if I'm not making any more money off of this, then it's really hard for me to justify doing anything extra. But I can't just like leave you guys out to do whatever you want, or like leave you guys to just try to figure everything out on your own, because then that's just honest for me as a service. So this is like my improvisation. I don't want to do 2 Zooms a week. Personally, I'm just not something I want to do, and I'm all about trying to do what I want to do and pursue what I want to pursue. You know what I mean? So I hope that doesn't sound too selfish of me, but doesn't really change much if I'm being honest. You guys can still reach out, and personally, bro, I haven't heard from you in DMs for months, so personally, if you want to reach me, you know how to reach me. The service is still here. I'm still here to help. I don't say no to helping people out, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. Because the same people still send me journal reviews, same people still want to do calls, same people still, do this and this. I don't think the Zooms, if anything, the Zooms are helping out because I'm actually getting more than 7-8 people per Zoom now.
Okay,
Yeah,
bro.
hopefully that makes sense.
Okay, bro. Yeah, good day. So sorry. I want to ask a question.
Hey, your mic is
Like,
kind of
how long do you?
messing up, bro.
Okay. My question is,
Bro, your
how
mic is just
long do you?
not. Your mic is not working out. Hey, stop. Your mic is not working, bro.
It's good for someone to.
Yo, hold on. I hope it's not me. Do you guys hear his mic like that, or is it just me? Yeah. It's not me, right? It's not me. It's okay. It's his. Yeah. Hey, Abraham, your mic is not working. Or not. It's kind of like bugging out. Yeah. Okay. Maybe we can try again.
Okay, can you hear me?
Okay, that's a little bit better. Yeah.
Now, my question is, how long do you think is good for someone to backtest?
Um, that's a tough question, bro. Is you're asking me what would be a good amount of time to backtest for every individual?
Yes.
That doesn't. It's kind of hard for me because one, I don't know what are you backtesting. Two, what specific thing are you backtesting? One, two, is it like your models, risk management, trade management? What is it exactly that you're backtesting? Three, how much
I,
experience do you have? Like, there's so many factors, bro. That's not a question I can answer.
okay. Like I mean the backtest in general, like market structure, the model, trade management, and all of that.
Well, I can't give you an answer because what am I
Okay,
so
okay, no, no.
what am I supposed to say? 3 months, and then after 3 months you backtest, and then you think it works, and then it doesn't work. Then what happens then? You see what I mean?
Okay.
Because
All right.
backtesting is a bit broad too. Because there's backtesting in terms of um, backtesting your strategy, and then there's also in terms of like kind of like what I do now is just backtesting the concepts in real time and judge and pretty much just getting my own notes out of it. I consider that backtesting as well. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like I said, like for example, the AU thing, like that's just me. This is literally me live backtesting here. Like I'm backtesting this potential scenario without taking the risk to see what can happen, and that happens. You know what I mean? So I don't think you ever stop backtesting, if that makes sense.
All right. I understand.
Yeah, it's very subjective. Because I mean, it's one thing to say how long should you backtest, and then it's also how long should you backtest until you start actually trading live. And I don't necessarily mean real money. I just mean like in real time. Because the point of backtesting is just for you to understand your rules. Like it's not for you to actually, um, like I said, like I said before, with like with this, is I'm backtesting a scenario to see what can happen. This is just me doing this kind of technically for fun. Whereas an example of backtesting as a newbie, I would need to be practicing the concepts for X amount of time until I understand definitions and how to use them in real time, and then I have to use them in real time in order to see how they work with me. Hopefully that doesn't confuse you. Can I show you a trade I took on Monday? It was a loss though. It's yeah. Go ahead, go for it. Okay, hold on. You're gonna have to send me the charts, bro. I'm not opening up. Let me see. Oh, okay. That works. Never mind. Is that just one chart, or how does this work? Alrighty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna open all these in order. I don't know why you're sending me these super long links. I'm gonna open all these in order. Hold on. And tell me when you're done so that I can open them. That's fine. That's cool. One. Okay. What do I see here? I'm assuming your scenario is here. I don't understand why. Okay, never mind. Low, high retracement, high. It should be 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the internal range of that 1, 2, 3, 4. That conversion. And based on that conversion, high, low, retracement, continuation. That is taken. And you see another conversion there. This is super sloppy. So as soon as I see this and this is considered technically no man's land. So what is your bias? I don't understand what your bias is here. Like I see circles and I see a box, but I don't see what you're trying to tell me here. That's an issue number one. I don't know what your bias is just based on this. 2, it looks like you want to be bullish, but it's only based on this. However,
Sorry,
this
do you?
is. I'm sorry.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sorry, do you mind if I just talk you through it?
Yeah, you want to just share your screen?
I don't have it on trading. You have it on my Notion, but I
Okay,
don't mind talking like it.
you can just show me your Notion. I don't care. It's fine.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, go for it. Let's see. You should be able to now. I think Freddie said something. Let's see. We can go over that too. I'll show you guys that.
Can you see it? Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So this was the trade I took on Monday. So the first thing I looked at was the major intraday on H4, and I saw solidified structure points, meaning more bullish on that time frame on that structural level. And same thing for H1 as well. I still considered major intraday, but what I noticed, which I didn't note here, how do I annotate? Here we go. What I noticed that what I noted on the H1 that I didn't note on the H4 was this making this major intraday low. That's how I looked at it. Therefore, this a high and then this another low on the H1. That's what I noted on the H1. So how do I go? Yeah. So that's on the H1. And then on the M15, what I saw on the M15 from the H1, to make it clear, is this. I saw a mitigation, right? Mitigation. Why? Yeah, I saw a mitigation, liquidity grab, and then after the liquidity grab, we broke structure here. That's what made me bullish.
Okay.
So I hadn't seen this happen yet. That hadn't happened yet.
Okay.
So
now zoom in.
Okay.
Go to the next one.
The M15. So once again, liquidity grab, continuation BOS retracement into my M15 POI. And then from there, I zoomed into the M5 and
Okay.
And where is it? Break of structure, solidified low, and then I entered on the retracement on the M1.
Okay. Justified.
And then on the M1, And then on the M1, it just looks a lot more clear.
Okay.
I saw this as, once again, liquidity grab, continuation POS solidifies the low, invalidation point, and I think my POI I think was an M3 POI, but I didn't put that in. So I entered in, and then after I saw this, I then put my stop right under this low. But I thought it was justified because the reaction did occur, but
No,
yeah.
it is justified. Yeah, it is justified. Because if you remember, I bought in here, and then as soon as that happened, this was my new invalidation, and then after this is the new invalidation, like you said. However, this is something that I noticed afterwards, which was here. Do you have your seconds time frame?
No, I don't have seconds time frame.
Okay, let me show you, because this is how I reviewed this afterwards. Let me.
Okay, should I stop sharing?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Where was this? I think it was. It was here. Yeah. Yeah, because the scenario was, it was justified, and that's why the reaction occurred, for one, because the entry was here, the entry was here. However, this is where is essentially the exit strategy, or the exit point here, because in order for this to give us the move into the upside, right? Like I said, the entry was here, break of structure, that's now me break even, right? Or the new invalidation is my SL, and then like we said, here was a new invalidation after we saw the bounce here, right? So if you're in from here, you should be break even. In my opinion, I would have been fully break even there. However, that's kind of a detail that you that is very personal, because I don't know if your entry is, let's say, here. I don't know if you want to break even here or you want to move your SL to invalidation. It's personal preference. However, as you can see, there is a continuation BOS. So like we said, your entry was here. That is a confirmed reaction. The confirmed reaction then fails, and then you can see the bearish order flow overtake. So this alone, once this reaction occurs, that invalidates the entire scenario. Because, not just because this is a failed reaction / continuation BOS / structural disruption in the opposite direction, but this is what's causing us to now have unwillingness based on that. But obviously, this is very hard to see if you don't have seconds time frame. So, in conclusion for you, I would just say, hey, look, your entry was right, but your bias was wrong. Simple as that. But this is what invalidates the entire scenario. Just for you to reference. And even if you can't see it here, you can see it in the M1 and 2, I think. Yeah, because you can see that there's a bullish engulfing and then a bearish engulfing, and that, in my opinion, is enough to show that this is going to fail. So does that help out at all?
Yeah, it does. Thank you, bro. It made sense. It's only that I don't have time frames, so I couldn't really look that deep. But now that you would understand.
Yep, but also too, this is also why I like to note like engulfings and stuff like that. If you note an engulfing and this engulfing overtakes wicks, so it doesn't matter, any wick internally, it doesn't matter what time frame it is, internally is some type of high. So whenever I see a bullish overtake a wick potentially, or even previous candles, then that means that there is a reaction in there internally, and that's why I really favor engulfings. But then as you can see, there's another counter engulfing, which is the bearish, and that justifies the internal bearish reaction, or the internal failed bullish reaction. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense. But your entire scenario was right? The bias, the entry, it was correct with the information that you had at the time of that, based on the internal structure. If you're going based off overall structure, you should have never been bullish. But it's not necessarily wrong to look for these bullish scenarios in these heavy bearish markets, because those provide high opportunity, high yield potential. So it's not necessarily wrong to do that, but it is incorrect. You see what I mean? And this kind of ties to, I don't know if you guys remember what we talked about, like probably like 2 months ago, or I don't know if this was before the break. I think it was before the break, where we talked about how the balance between the amount of trades and the win rate of trades, how they vary between major, intraday, swing, and scalp. So that kind of ties into that. Right, because if you're fully focused on, let's see, let me see, because I'm trying to see what invalidated this from the major intraday, because I know it wasn't, there we go. My only issue, right, with the bullish bias was the essentially not creating a brand new high. So although there was internal reactions that gave us the bullish signs, we can only play based on what is given to us, which at the moment is potentially a bullish scenario. However, this was always in play. And this is why I like to be pretty conservative with the entries, because although the bias was wrong, I didn't technically lose, because my invalidation was above my entry, so I wouldn't consider that a loss. Cool. But yeah, does anybody have any more questions? Taking that off, that off. I wonder if this was a deep premium. Yeah, it was too. Premium, liquidity, POI, new high. Interesting. But yeah, personally, I have not been a fan of this at all. Was not a fan of that at all while that was happening. Yeah, does anybody have any more questions, or can we, excuse me, finish it up right here? Cool, so are we good? Alrighty then, I guess we're good, guys. I will see you guys in 2 weeks. If you guys need anything, you guys know how to reach me. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend.